microphone-y. Oh my goodness. Ouchie poochie. Well, hello everyone. It's Crazy Aunt Julie getting ready to do my final scene of episode 5 of The Teeth Within. We're doing audio drama construction, piece by piece, step by step, inch by inch, gonna get ya. And it's kind of a slow day for me. I've had a lot of insomnia, which is so much fun. So if I start gibbering, probably just means that I'm starting to go into some sort of fugue state and can't maintain any sort of any sort of conversation. I'm not going to attempt to answer questions from the internet today on a consequence of that. So we'll get back to those tomorrow. Ooh. Anyway, so here we have all the lines for the last scene of the episode. And to begin with, looks like I got Jane's recording.
Well,
okay. As usual, when I recorded, as I've said before, when I recorded Jane, we were in a large group situation, so I know that I've got her scenes twice through. But I think when I was splitting up the tracks, I got the second one after the first one. I make sense to me. I'm sorry if I don't make sense to anyone else today. It's just been... I cricked up my neck and I couldn't sleep, and my neck's still cricked up, so I can't turn my head. And I just love that. That's so much fun. Ooh, Annie actually has lines today. Annie's a constant presence, but doesn't really say much in this. We've been looking at a script I'm thinking of doing as a sort of next, to follow up after this, rather than just letting this die. And it's a high-end dungeon crawl. Anybody who played D&D is familiar with that kind of concept, and it's really fun. I like to think that no matter what my setting or my time period, I write good characters. Right now I'm just evening out the volume a little bit as I go. I mean, just some preliminary volume editing. Oh. See, this is just to prove I could do this in my sleep. Once again, a reminder, I'm going to copy this 5 seconds, but first I blanked it out, because you never know what's actually in there. You'd be surprised how many things are so quiet you can't see them on a standard screen, even when it's all this big. So... this I know is the closing line of the show, so I'm not going to worry about it till I get there, because otherwise I'll just be shoving that down every 2 seconds along with everything else. So, or at least I'm pretty sure it is. La la la. Yep, there it is. And this will be a moderately long scene with a couple of special effects. The thing with the dungeon crawl, we're going to have a lot of monsters and swordplay and unusual effects for the various characters. So that's going to be a whole nother kettle of fish as far as any sort of special effects go. Okay. Now, at the last scene that they were in, we had Gerald and Drab over here. We had Annie way over here, and Jane was closer in on this side. When Fields shows up, he'll break in way at the back. Not 100%, never 100%. Why? Because nothing's, unless you have hearing loss issues, or you're wearing headphones and only one of them works, you'll never hear anything in only one ear. And if you've ever had headphones and only one of them worked, you know how shitty it is to hear anything in one ear.
Annie don't have much social graces. 8. 8. Oh.
Oh, Lord, that was the old clicker. I hated that thing.
Ain't nice. It ain't nice.
I like that first one. See, getting multiple takes from any of your actors, including yourself, always gives you the chance when you're coming back to select which take you like best, which one fits. Because sometimes, oh, hey, Haddock, I was just explaining that I am sleep deprived. Ow. And because I got a crick in my neck, I torqued up something in my shoulder. I went to the chiropractor too, and they're not magicians. They probably loosened it up, but it's still in pain. Ooh, I should take some painkillers. That might help. But the idea is that, then I couldn't sleep because, ouchie, you can't really lie on anything when your neck's all bleh. It's hard to turn the head, Hey, Yargion. Well, it's turning into a party. Awesome. Let's see. We're going to just zip through editing up all the lines in this scene. And as I was gibbering, just to fill the time and the space, even if you're one of the people recording, it's good to give yourself multiple takes so that when you come back to it, or whether you're doing the editing or someone else
I get the feeling there is something else you have not yet broached. I get the feeling there is something that you are hinting at. Oh, sorry. I get the feeling there is something else you have not yet broached.
That, you never know exactly how the sound is going to come out from other people, so it's good to have a couple of different options so that what you say still matches up in case they screw up. But also because you don't want to have your only take have some kind of sound issues that you can't fix. It's always good to have a second take no matter what, just because of sound issues and potential issues. Second take, third take, all the other takes, it's better to have, because let's face it, this is not the days of, reel-to-reel tape or anything like that. This is digital memory. You can have, it's the audio equivalent of selfies. You might as well take 1,000,000 and use the right one, because we're not hampered by physical limitations in the same way as we used to be. Back in the day, when you were filming video, when you were filming on film, you had X amount of film, and when it was gone, it was gone.
Well, I'm not sure what it is.
As opposed to now, where on digital, you just keep filming until you get what you want.
Just tell me, and let me be the judge.
So, it's...
Just tell me, and let me be the judge.
Admittedly,
tell me, and let me be the judge.
Admittedly, we use a lot of memory. Not as much as used for video, obviously. But there's no reason not to. Memory is cheap. Shoot, I remember when, not that long ago, 128 megabyte thumb drive was like $20. Now, that's like something you stir a drink with at best, because, it's totally worthless. Though you can still put a lot of docs on it. Documents. Or PDFs or something tiny like that. But again, the point is, and I could have her move here. I'm going to put a note to that effect, because they're not really standing next to each other in the room. Should just take a couple steps forward to do this. I'm just gonna go ahead and keep ruminating. Ruminating while I move the voices around here. And so, you only hamper yourself if you insist
What is it?
on
What is it?
if you insist on, conserving space at the expense of other things. I mean, among other things, I regret deeply that I erased years ago my original recordings of my Lovecraft recordings, my old stories, the ones that I did when I was very first starting out. Because now I can't fix them. I can re-record them, but I can't fix the ones I've done. I could fix them or do something. And some of the music things that I figured out to do for them, I'm really quite pleased with. If I could just, take them, re-clean the vocal tracks, or even replace the vocal tracks, keep the music, and because I was getting tricky with the music on those. There's one Pickman's model where the music actually makes my skin crawl because I started segueing the whole track into a minor sixth as best I could. Not that I'm a music scholar, but I know the minor sixth is one of those music, it's the devil's chord. And it makes people, it's one of those things like fingers on a chalkboard that get you. And even though the music sounds nicey, it does get creepy.
It looks like bath oil? It looks like bath oil? It looks like bath oil?
I don't... Anyway, so the point is that, if I had just saved them somewhere, even if I burned them to a DVD, and maybe I did, but I haven't seen them in years, then, I could conceivably do something with them. But if all you keep is your finals, and, I wouldn't keep everything.
Looks like.
But
The whole point is, as long as it's an operating thing, as long as you're working on it, you keep it. And when it's done, it's done, and when it's done to a reasonable level of perfection, I suppose I should say. But, it's just, it's frustrating sometimes. And, especially if you're, later on you come back and you're like, wow, I could have fixed it.
Open it.
Let's see how silly his butt gets. How...
But
It's a silly butt. No, it's not. He does have a tendency to get a little histrionic. And he's finally got a line. But yeah, so it's, unless you're truly financially strapped, there is absolutely no excuse for, not keeping your backups, at least for a little while. Even the audiobooks I do, I keep all the files, for several months.
Open it and give it a whiff.
Ain't nice.
It's...
Ain't.
really,
that just in case I have to go back to the original files for some reason, I keep no, not that one. I keep all my old files, all my original files. Just in case, for like 6 months after the book is on sale. I've had a couple times where I've had to go back and there was some kind of issue in there, and even then I keep the MP3 files, afterwards. But so it's served me well a few times. There are times when, even with a proper program and you're
Really?
doing all your outputting correctly, something just doesn't come out right. I mean, there's still user
Really?
error, computer error,
Really?
all sorts of things. So, keeping things around can be a survival skill if you're trying to get things done. And plus the fact that, what if you go, oh, hey, there was that special effect I did for that episode way back when. And I wonder trying to remember how I did it. I can just go steal it or copy it. And then you're like, oh, poo, I already threw that one out. I cleared all the space. I blanked the memory. I did whatever I did, And that's the thing, is that there's always, you're going to regret a lot of that stuff. And
Really?
just reminds me that I can't breathe through my nose. Okay, but yeah. It's self-defense more than anything else. And it's good to have, backup drives are so cheap now. Like I said, I remember when 128 megabytes was the hot thing, and that was, $20 or $40 or whatever. And now you could get, if you watch the sales, you could get 4 terabytes for like $100 on Amazon sometimes. And that's a lot of space, even for audio drama.
May I?
And there's no reason not to. That really is the big thing.
As you wish.
But
As you wish. As you wish.
But, hand in hand with that, you've got to have some kind of organization. And, I've got some kind of organization. I don't claim it's perfect, but you see me wandering around my effects files, and this is, there was a day back in the day when I could get in there and knew where everything was, pretty much. I'm getting back to it. And that's, there is organization there. It's not perfect, and I've forgotten much of it, but at least I know what I did. And you gotta have something, just random files all somewhere.
It is oil. Well, it is oil.
It's not that bad.
Well, it is oil.
We'll just stick with the first one. It's just, it's like motor oil rather than like, they're making such a big deal out of it.
No lady, no woman at all would bathe in that.
So, both for scripts and for, everything, some kind of order. And I have to admit, when I worked at a law firm, we picked up, I picked up quite a bit of
Sides ain't none in the bathtub. Sides ain't none in the porcelain.
There we go. I picked up a lot of, labeling things and stuff that helped a lot, doing, for one thing, keeping methodical backup copies and, taking steps to show, which version I'm on, things like that. It just, whenever you overwrite an old version, you have to be absolutely sure that, that you can get rid of it.
In the bathtub? In the bathtub?
I like the porcelain better. Oh my gosh, Annie gets a whole sentence for a change. Or two. A whole paragraph almost. Alright.
Besides, ain't none in the bathtub. Oh, I'm begging your pardon, sir.
Actually, I'm gonna finagle this line just a second.
None in the bathtub. In the bathtub.
Let's see. I'm gonna finagle just a little bit here. And we'll give it to drab just a second. I'm gonna back up one step here to not edited version of this. And steal a what from drab.
What is it? What is it? What is it?
Not quite what I want.
Really? Really?
Maybe I can go with that. Something so that she'll correct it. Because I like that, the porcelain. I was improvising clearly when I was in the studio. So it's like...
Besides, ain't none in the porcelain. In the bathtub.
Like, he's like, what? And she goes, to explain. Or she feels the need to explain.
Porcelain. In the bathtub.
That's kind of cute anyway. So Gerald says, the bathtub?
Oh, I'm begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. Ain't none been used in there. Not a slick. Oh, begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. It ain't none been used in there. Not a slick.
Okay, here's something I can show you guys. Terribly exciting thing. This is another function I use on occasion. You see this straight up and down line. This is a noise I make with SL. Slick. There's a click that...
Slick.
No, stop that, you poo-poo head. And it happens to me all the time. It's just a verbal tick of mine. Now here you can see it looks like a pop once you get really close. And I could just delete it. I mean, one way to deal with it is just to cut it out. To find, the spikes around it and get rid of it. It's not like a regular pop where where you can, easily you can do a high pass filter on it, because it isn't high pass, it's a low, it's a high noise instead. I don't like that ... thing. That's creepy. So I mean, I could just carefully cut it out, and I'd probably take from here over just to clear that up. So if I highlight that part, you don't hear it anymore. And it's not a noise that has to be there. There's times when if you take out an entire pop, you'll actually lose part of a sound. But not in the case of one of these. Now, the other way to do it, I have a plugin, which is a no, not the de-esser. The de-esser I don't use very often. It's the declicker, and I could use it on this. The problem if I use the declicker universally is it will take out sometimes sounds I want, like k or p or d. So, you know, you got to remember that any of these plugins are only as bright as, you know, the way the computer can detect whatever the sound is. And if it can't tell from, you know, it's going to take out the good with the bad. So it's better to use it spot checky. I'm going to go ahead and just do the deletion on this one. And it doesn't make any bad,
Slick.
you know. And you do want to get rid of it when you can if you see something like that, a click or a noise in a track, because it does pop for the listener's ears. And you know, be aware of your own, as you listen to yourself or to other people, you learn whatever their vocal stylings are, because we all have bad habits and things. And that's it. Just you just get used to that sort of thing, especially when you do it all the time. Okay, drab.
What else would one use such oil for? What else would one use such oil for? What else would one use such oil for? What else would one use...
Oh, Drab, you're such an innocent.
What else would one use such oil for?
I wrote that weird. My fault. Oops. Gotta get me some blank space again. I have a tendency when I'm doing this kind of editing to make sure I've always got blank space on my clipboard, you know, the cut and paste clipboard, so that whenever I need to move some lines around, I can just paste in some space. Yeah. No, ain't that kind of oil either. Let's bring this up. And as I said, I found it exceedingly hilarious to match up, you know, these somewhat prim and proper British fellows with these very earthy gutter girls.
Smells a bit of brass. Smells a bit of brass. Smells a bit like brass.
So the oil is a mystery. Why do I have all of these?
So the oil is a mystery. So the oil is a mystery. So the oil is a mystery. The oil is a mystery. So the oil is a mystery.
And then to cap off the whole scene, Constable Fields comes bursting in, la la la, and I'll go ahead and delete that. We've got a few different sound effects to put in. Oh, come on. That's not what I was doing. I thought I put my You always gotta remember when you click in here, just to be safe, you do Control B to open up a thing. Sometimes it'll just start typing. Sometimes, otherwise, it will give you all sorts of crap. Okay, let me take a quick look at the scene here. Do a little bit of voluming. Probably take that up again, but we'll see. Alright, and just to be certain, let's see, we have 8, then before that, there's 6. Let's go back to 6, and no, that's the room tone. I want the fireplace, which is all the way to the left. Probably 80 or 90%, just because, you know, it's nice to have it in the background as we're moving, so I know about the volumes and stuff. Oh, my shoulder.
I get the feeling there is something else you have not yet broached.
Well, I'm not sure what it is.
Just tell me, and let me be the judge.
It's just this.
What is it?
It looks like bath oil,
Looks like.
but
Open it and give it a whiff.
Ain't nice.
Really?
may I?
As you wish.
Well, it is oil.
No lady, no woman at all would bathe in that.
Sides, ain't none in the porcelain. In the bathtub.
In the bathtub.
Oh, begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. Ain't none man used in there. Not a slick.
What else would one use such oil for?
No, I'm that sort neither.
Smells a bit of brass.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word. There might be another one.
Dun dun dun! And that will be the end of the episode. You can get rid of some of this fireplace. Just to... No... Blah, 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 blah. Okay, and there were a couple of spots I want to fix up a little bit here. She has too many mouth noises. Oh, Jane. Can't do it 2 lines in a row no matter what. You know, there's certain times things sound proper for a character, and there's certain times it just sounds like, you know, bad vocalization. Where was the other thing I wanted to fix? No, shut up. Just because I can't aim because I'm tired. Then he's got just a whiff of a breath there. Yes. Oh, come on. Fine, I'll make it larger so I can aim. Alright. So, and I want to take some of Annie's speech up a little bit. You know, it's the most she's had to say for several episodes, and it's quite a little monologue. It's so funny because she's fairly timid, but then when there's something about cleaning or cooking or something like that, she knows her stuff. And that's part of what makes it so funny, is that she'll totally speak up if it's something that she feels confident about. But, you know, that's not many things. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save the edited version here. And then we're going to go ahead and make a new one. I'm being a little overly cautious sometimes, partly because I'm just tired, and it's so much easier to screw something up when you're really, really tired, but also because, you know, I'm trying to make sure to pound it into heads, and that way it overcompensates for all the times I fail to do it. So we need a bottle, and an opening bottle noise, and a few steps, and some steps over here. I've got the steps and a door. That's easy because I have these steps and a door. Here he bursts in. Ooh, ow, gosh. My shoulder hurts so bad. I hate it. You know, it's just like come on. And in fact, for this particular interruption, I'm gonna do a little bit with footsteps that I wouldn't usually do. No. Which is, we'll hear him coming from down the hall, sort of. And I might as well do something a little interesting here. I'm going to blank that because that's where he has to stop, open the door, and then take another step, couple steps in, actually. In which case, let's pull this back a little bit. We're just going to do this for the hell of it. Okay, there's what we blank out. Takes another couple steps in. And this. So.
The oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word. There might be another.
And I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna speed this up just a skosh, because rather than changing the tempo, I'm just gonna take out some of the space between the footsteps. You'll notice I take the space out just before the next step rather than just after the previous one. It's because each step has a certain amount of echo after it, a little bit of reverb following it. And you don't want to remove that because that'll sound a little off. You want to catch it right before the next step where there's more chance of it actually being blank. Not that. And then center it on the door again, because that's where, like I said, is stopping and then taking a couple more steps. Right there. And let's see, he's very far off to the left already. There isn't really much space for him to move. However, we can, and I'm not going to fade it in from here because that'll effectively negate the first footstep. If I did this, that first one is completely gone. But if I pull my selection out into the blank space and then fade in, it fades in at a different angle. The first step is still going to be quieter, but it's not as bad as if I had just started right on it. But I'm also going to do a low pass filter on these. Like that. Which will, of course, impose blank. Because
Is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word.
And so even though it's not actually moving, now I can also volume. I'm going to volume these up a bit. I want to make sure they get heard.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word. There might be another one.
So you see how that is? It sounds, you can hear the footsteps. I could low pass filter them again to make them sound more outside the room, but then you're in this tussle between the low pass filter taking the sound, taking the volume down effectively, and then voluming it up, and then low pass filter. I'm just going to leave it as is. I mean, it sounds enough like he's outside the door approaching. Even though I don't move him, the fade in shows that he's approaching.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word. There might be another one.
So this does, it makes it very clear that, here he's coming in. I'm not going to have him running, he wouldn't be doing quite that. He bursts in, but it's not like a really, like a, oh my god, there's something on the roof or something. No, it's just, we might have another murder. But this is, Victorian England. Things move slower. It's not so thrilling. Okay, so we got that. The main thing other than that I need is some noises of handling a bottle. And this is going to be tricky because this is not a simple sound to find. I mean, of all the sort of things, I have tried hard over the years to find as many different effects as I can that I can turn into different things, as you've seen me do. But, the more sort of, I wouldn't call it weird, but sort of esoteric sound, the kind of thing you just don't think about needing, is what always is the stuff that's hard to do. So this is going to be bigger bottles, and so we don't have that kind of bottle noise either, so that doesn't help. If she was setting it down, that would be one thing, but we're handing it over. So I don't have it under glass. I might have something under home noises, because if you think about it, bottles can also sound like cups. So I can look under something, because glass sounds similar enough to something like ceramic or porcelain that, I could probably do it with glasses, like drinking glasses. So, I mean, I can listen through some of the things I've got, like here. That's a very big bottle. I don't want that. But we're getting there. That is totally useless. That's a jokey noise. For all that it's a plastic bottle and a screw top, I might be able to get away with that noise. I'm going to save it in case, just because I know this is going to be a hard one. Now that's definitely plastic. Plastic cup. Many things. Drinking. Arranging. No, not what I need. Not the right sound. See, this is where... Oh, now, that might just work. I mean, it's sort of a goofy noise, but it is a recognizable noise that tells the audience, oh, they opened a bottle, and it's a glass bottle. I mean, that again is... That's a much larger noise than I need, but I still need something for handling or moving. Styrofoam, water, glass bottle. That one cuts off oddly. That's not useful. There's a couple noises in here I might be able to use. But see, and this is why even simple things like this can take us such a long time, because, you have to listen for the noises that are going to work. Ice, baby. Cup of tea. We're not pouring water, and it doesn't really even need the sound of the oil. We know that it's there. They talk about it. No. Okay. And let me just take one more look over in cooking and eating at dishes. Ceramic isn't perfect to glass, but it is a similar enough noise that you could use it if you had to. Too deep. No. If they were picking it up or putting it down, one thing, but no. that's the problem, is it's not being really moved against anything else it could clink against. Okay, I'll just have to run with these noises. And first off, I want a little bit of movement from Jane, so I'm going to bring Jane's track down here. She starts to the right, and she's going to move just a skosh left to hand him the bottle, and then she's going to back off. She doesn't, I mean, if you think about it, she wouldn't be all that happy standing too close to the inspector. I mean, she'd brave it out if there was any reason to, but the whole idea is, you know, she's been on the wrong side of the law. It's not,
Let me be the judge.
It's just this.
What is it?
It looks like...
Okay, so, you know, she's probably been on the wrong side of the law at one point or another, and isn't particularly interested in dealing with it. And her voice may not move at all, simply because she's going to move and then back to her spot without between talking. Let me go grab my FX. I think it's just these two effects I'm going to use. Okay. Now, there's a noise in here. I'm going to volume this up so I can see it. Let's go. Yeah, there's a clink. There's an underlying rumble in this track, though, also. So I'm going to clean it real quick. Because the noises I want are high noises, I can run a high-pass filter and get rid of some of the rumble that way. But I'd clean the track exactly the same way I clean it for voices. Here's how it would sound if I... Okay, rather than worry about cleaning it manually, I think I'm going to do this instead. Okay. Top track is my good one. There we go. Cut off that. Okay. So the noise I want is right here. That sounds okay. Let's see. I could take this portion of the sound and use that to clean it. It's not perfect. This is very rough, as you'll notice. I'm just going to very roughly just take out as much of that background noise as I can, and then use as much of not that background noise as I can. I know, it's so much effort to go to for this tiny little noise, but that's part of what makes a really good show, honestly, is the idea that you're gonna...
Just this.
What is it?
It looks like bath oil?
Let's see. I think I'm just gonna give it 2 steps. Give me 2 steps, give me 2 steps, baby, give me 2 steps toward the door. Alright, and I'm gonna want to bring it up a little bit more just to make sure it sounds...
This.
What is it?
It looks like...
And then I'm going to let her back off almost the same 2 steps. Not quite the same because I don't want it just to be the same.
This
What is it?
It looks like bath oil,
looks like.
but
And that works for me. And in fact, I'll go ahead and take this track. And just to be completely controlling, I'm going to move her during these footsteps. It's the slightest thing, but I'm not a perfectionist. I'm really not.
This
What is it?
it looks like bath oil,
looks like.
but
Open it and give it a whiff.
Ain't nice.
Really?
And then this, the cork open, is in Drab's track. So I'm going to put the cork opening noise here. Let's get into that, the bottle pop. Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, it's a little goofy and big, but it's not bad. I'm going to volume that one down by comparison to make it sound like a smaller bottle.
may I?
As you wish.
Now, in the As You Wish, I need a noise of the bottle being moved. And we've got a second noise here for the bottle. You know, it could click as one gentleman passes it to the other on his ring or his nails or something, you know. I'll take that one out.
As you wish.
Well, it is oil.
No lady, no woman at all would bathe in that.
Sides, ain't none in the porcelain. In the bathtub.
In the bathtub.
Oh, begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. Ain't none one used in there. Not a slick.
What else would one use such oil for?
No, I'm that sort neither.
Smells a bit of brass.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word there might be another one.
Okay. So we've got very simple effects in this, but it should be effective. Ha 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 ha, she says. Alright, so the last thing we're gonna do, and I have not recorded the credits for this because last night I fell asleep in my chair, which is part of why my neck is so torqued up today. Yay! Instead of recording, I fell asleep because I'm an idiot. So I'm going to do my room tone. We didn't explore chains today because, again, I am dying. But I will make a point of keeping that in mind for something future. So we've got room tone. And then I'm going to do my normal 1000 low pass filter. Now, the one other thing that I am going to do is I'm going to take Fields and run a little extra reverb on him because, again, he's opened the door. He's got a different echo pattern where he's at because he's in the hallway. And so there's going to be more sound behind him than there is through the rest of the rooms.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word there might be another one.
It's just a slight change in the background sound, and again, because I'm not a perfectionist. I'm just weird. Okay. Alright, so, and this scene should be done. Let's see how it sounds all together. Except, of course, my heater just came on, so it's very noisy. I haven't had any caffeine either. Ow, ow, ow. I can barely turn my head. I'm so crippled. I hate it when you get that, especially when you're sitting here going, I'm going to, as soon as I eat, I'm going to go upstairs and record. I'm so energetic. And then you eat, and then you're like, for like 3 hours. And by then you're groggy and your voice is gone and you're all blecky, and then it's like, I can't read or make noise. That's not bad. But then you can't get back to sleep either. Yay! Is there a noise here deliberately? No, that is a bad noise that I do not need. But I am going to take this up just a skosh. I can do some sound adjustment even after I've done the room tone without too much with impunity, because the naked ear isn't usually going to hear slight changes like that. So, okay, let's hear how it sounds. No, let's go to the beginning and hear how it sounds, machine. Listen to me, damn it. So
I get the feeling there is something else you have not yet broached.
Well, I'm not sure what it is.
Just tell me, and let me be the judge.
It's just this.
What is it?
It looks like bath oil,
Looks like.
but
Open it and give it a whiff.
Ain't nice.
Really?
may I?
As you wish.
Well, it is oil.
No lady, no woman at all would bathe in that.
Sides, ain't none in the porcelain. In the bathtub.
In the bathtub.
Oh, begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. Ain't none man used in there. Not a slick.
What else would one use such oil for?
No, I'm that sort neither.
Smells a bit of brass.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word there might be another one.
Bum bum bum. Yay! And thus the episode ends. So we save, we highlight, we mix, we select, we copy, we unmix, and we close. Then the copy comes over here and gets placed. And gets mixed into the mix.
I get the feeling there is some...
And then I fade in the fire. I often do a double fade in just because I think it's smoother than just cutting right in at the end. It depends on the sounds. You just have to play it by ear and see what works for you. And let me move this over. It may or may not be the way we finish this off.
We have word there might be another one.
And I believe this is the last music that opens. This is the beginning of the closing.
We have
credits.
word there might be another one.
I want just a little bit of time after.
We have word there might be another one.
Yeah, just a little bit of time after his declaration before the music. I don't want it to come in. Pardon me. I don't want it to come in directly. What? Wait, what? Wait, what? Poo-poo head. I don't want it to come in directly on. I must have pushed some damn button. I hate it how this keyboard is vastly different from my laptop keyboard. So every once in a while I think I'm hitting like, oh, end, and I'm hitting insert instead. It's the stupid function keys. Anyway, if anybody is still here, is there anybody still here? Oh my gosh, several people are. Do we want to listen through the whole episode now? I do require at least one response in chat to make sure I'm not speaking only to myself. Some days you just feel like you're screaming into the void. You know how it is. Shall we listen to the whole episode? I am allowing for lag at this point. La 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 la. Ah, heck, let's just do it. Whee! Oh, there we are. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure that there were actually people still here. Of course, everything but the
19 Nocturne
credits.
Boulevard presents The Teeth Within. Part 5 of a 9-part serial featuring Plain Jane and Anybody. Oh, and Gerald. Welcome to Victorian England with a bit of a twist.
Had you been in this establishment prior to today, sir?
Of course not. It's simply not done.
You needn't condescend.
Was I? My apologies. Do go on.
Yes, sir. Please describe this, Miss McAdams.
Oh, well, average height, light brown hair, very stylish, very pretty.
Did you notice anything in particular that might aid in identifying her?
Certainly not. One doesn't look at a woman on another man's arm that closely.
It's simply not done.
Inspector, may I offer a word of suggestion?
Continue.
I truly do not mean to come off as a... whatever it is that I am doing that seems to annoy you so fiercely. I presume it is a class issue?
You put things rather bluntly.
And I gather that you do not approve of all of this. Can we come to a compromise?
In what particular, sir?
Think on this. Were you called upon to investigate a murder among the Chinese or the Hindu,
Heaven forbid.
you would like to try and find someone among them who could translate for you and help you to understand any special motivations that might lie behind the crime.
Oh, that would be logical.
Inspector, I propose that, rather than think of this as a class issue, you consider the peerage as a foreign country. And I am offering my services as your friendly native guide.
Well, but like the Hindus or the Chinese, you might choose to hold back vital information.
Always possible, yes.
At least you are an honest Chinaman. And in return...
Daniel Gregory was not one that I would call a friend, but I have been acquainted with him for years, and I feel for his family. I want to see the blackguard that did this brought to justice.
Oh, that's some nice work. Would be lovely with a pale blue ribbon.
If I may make a suggestion, I know a young woman who lives nearby, and might be better able to tell us something about the lady from her belongings.
I'll send for her.
Fields knows where it is. He found me there, and she knows him by sight.
Bloody hell.
I went to all the trouble of
Come and look, Astrid, dear.
Yes, Father.
See this cog set?
Very delicate.
Yes, these 5 cogs, placed in precisely the proper order, will make any of our clockwork automata able to...
Shh!
What?
Someone is coming.
Do not worry, my dear. Why don't you go on to your room?
Yes, Papa.
Come in. I'm so glad you were able to come tonight. I have a new set of cogs for you.
Ah.
They are engraved with numbers. See here? As usual, to show the order they must be inserted.
Oh?
Together, they govern a complex series of actions. Surprisingly complex, all things considered.
What is it?
This allows one of the automatics to knit.
So, friendly native, where would such a lady go were she inclined to run off?
She probably has friends and possibly even family in town, but there's no way to know where.
There's no hiring exchange. The laughing Chinaman.
It is a very private sort of arrangement. Very few have connections.
You thought of something.
Sir? Sirs? Miss, Jane is here. With maid.
Jane.
Just Jane?
Have you been working more on making lenses for the automata?
I don't feel like it.
Lenses will be very helpful.
Lenses require all sort of extra machinery to function.
We have craftsmen to duplicate the machinery. You needn't waste your talents on that. But you are the only one who knows how to grind the lenses.
Lenses are tedious. Knitting is useful. Think of a room full of automata making lovely warm socks.
And do you really think they will be able to spot anything?
Oh, Jane is far cleverer than you might expect.
I shall hold my comments.
Jane, here, give this a whiff.
Smell?
I look forward to hearing about it.
Sorry about any mess. Figure you might want answers quick rather than tidy.
Ahem, certainly. Did you uncover anything of interest?
Rather. Ain't so much what's there as what ain't.
And what ain't there?
It's a bit touchy.
Try me.
Lady linens.
What?
You married, Inspector?
What has that got to do with anything?
You might know what I was talking about if you had a woman at home.
Some linens that a lady would normally have. Undergarments?
Something like that.
But she might have taken them with her.
She took naught else. Why would she load herself down?
Are they valuable?
Only if you ain't got them. No, they're,
What is so funny?
Oh, Lord, can't you just take my word? Please?
What will this indicate, then? The lack of linens?
That's the curious part. I don't know. Seems like either she don't truly live here, or perhaps she wasn't really, well, female. Which ain't unheard of, but that's an entirely different kettle of fish.
We met them at the theatre last week. What did you think of her?
Not much. I mean, didn't think of her much at all. Now, too much paint, not much on conversation, but nothing to make me think she were something else beneath.
Are you talking about a female impersonator?
Not very likely.
And you would be able to tell?
I noticed some things. Her hands weren't overly large, she didn't wear an eye collar, and her voice was quite light.
Then what is it you are hinting at?
Oh, was I hinting? Sorry.
Professor, you understand how much this means?
Money. The exhibit doesn't need any more money.
The exhibit? Ha!
Astrid assures me the exhibit is almost ready to purchase its own permanent space.
Astrid? Your daughter?
Yes?
Is she here now?
No.
Whatever she says, the exhibit is only able to continue under the auspices of the agency. We pay for your exhibit space, and you make us what we need. No fabrication, no location. Simple.
I don't like it.
You don't need to like it, but you must face the truth and do what has to be done. And that means lenses.
I get the feeling there is something else you have not yet broached.
Well, I'm not sure what it is.
Just tell me, and let me be the judge.
It's just this.
What is it?
It looks like bath oil,
Looks like.
but
Open it and give it a whiff.
Ain't nice.
Really?
may I?
As you wish.
Well, it is oil.
No lady, no woman at all would bathe in that.
Sides, ain't none in the porcelain. In the bathtub.
In the bathtub.
Oh, begging your pardon, sirs, but oil is a bit of a chore to scrub out of the bath. Ain't none man used in there. Not a slick.
What else would one use such oil for?
No, I'm that sort neither.
Smells a bit of brass.
So the oil is a mystery.
Inspector, sir, we have word. There might be another one.
In this episode, you heard blah 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 blah. That's blah 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 blah. Oh, banana splits. What about the banana splits? Is this banana oil? No. Banana splits. I'm trying to think of any context in here that might have something to do with. Apart from, la 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 la. I'm waiting on the lag. See if I get a response. Let's see. While I wait, oh, great episode. Well, thank you. Glad you're liking it. And I mean, do you guys guess, obviously the two things that the girls found that no man would have necessarily noticed are actually huge clues to the fact that Carlotta was a clockwork. She doesn't need she doesn't need sanitary products, and she uses this odd oil it's for oiling her gears, obviously, not for any of the other purposes that they were thinking of. So yeah. And well, it's also kind of fun thinking, when I was writing it, thinking of the things that they would notice that the cops would have missed. And these are, I mean, even one clue would be great. 2 clues is pretty awesome, especially when, the cops are like, whatever, what's that supposed to mean? It's like, well, I don't know, but it's there. Ow, 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 ow. So, half asleep or not, I might still be talked into a little bit of script reading once I stop the recording. I'm going to end the recording here with this, and then I'll decide if I'm going to post it or not. I mean, there's a couple good things in here, but we'll see.